In today's video, we're going to dive into the essentials of banking for your short-term rental business.
We'll share how we manage the flow of money for our properties and clients, reveal the bank that we trust to handle 55 accounts for our business, and highlight our top picks for credit cards for our business and for property setups.
And while we're talking about money, this is our 100th video that we filmed for YouTube. So we're going to give away some money to one of you today.
Stick through to the end to hear details on that, and let's get started.
A quick note about our business. If you're new around here, we are a husband and wife team of real estate investors, and we have 8 properties, which some are short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, long-term rentals, and personal use properties that we choose not to rent out.
In addition to our own real estate portfolio, we also manage about 50 properties for clients with our property management business. So handling money, our own money, other people's money, is something that we take extremely seriously.
Everything that we're going to share in today's video is our own experience and should not be taken as financial advice.
We are not financial advisors, nor are we affiliated with any banks or credit card companies. So anything that we're sharing with you today is just our personal experience. We'll be sharing our process and what works for our businesses, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you. You should absolutely do your own research before implementing anything that we share today.
In our property management business, all the rental income is paid to accounts of ours, and then we reconcile those at the end of each month.
We take those funds that go into the account and we use it to pay the cleaners and to cover any incidentals that may have come up at the property that month. Maybe some sheets needed to be replaced or something like that. And then we pay our management commission to ourselves, and the balance gets transferred to the client.
We've found it easiest to have a dedicated checking account for each property in our portfolio. But because of the large number of properties in our portfolio, we had to be a little selective about which bank we were using.
Some banks just don't want to give us 65 individual bank accounts, or they would charge high fees for every additional account that we'd want to add. But we eventually found one that perfectly suits our needs back in Steven's home state.
We use a bank in Iowa called Farmer State Bank, or FSB for short. They have been great. They're very customer service focused, and when we need more accounts, they just create them for us.
And I'll add that we're not residents of Iowa, so us living in California full-time is not an issue for using that bank. So on Airbnb and other booking platforms, you can add each of these bank accounts, and then for each individual property, you can set a routing rule so that any funds collected for that property go directly into that specific bank account.
Having the dedicated account per property makes the reconciliation for that property very easy, which we do monthly, as we mentioned before.
Once all of the income and fees collected from each booking are into the property account, we reconcile it, and then a statement is created which explains all of the booking activity for that month.
Information to populate those statements comes from the booking platform or our booking confirmations from our direct booking website. Once that statement is added up, containing the owner payout, any cleaning payouts, expense reimbursements, our commission, that bank balance should go to zero. Or in our case, we start each account with $5. Due to rounding calculations, there's always a few pennies difference away from that $5 goes to nearly $5, and then we know we've done it right. If your calculation ends up with a negative balance or too big of a positive balance, you've made a mistake somewhere, good signal, you go and hunt that out, get that to reconcile down to the $5.
Where is my money?
Okay. One little hurdle in this otherwise smooth process is collecting TOT or transient occupancy tax or other ancillary fees like pool heating or late checkout fees, basically anything you collect from the guest via the Airbnb Resolution Center.
Unfortunately, these tax funds and ancillary fee payments are only dispersed by Airbnb to your default account that you have set up. We created another bank account.
Another bank account.
Your bank account.
It would be so much easier if you could apply the fees collected for that property to route to that property specific bank account, but not possible right now.
That bank account holds all the TOT payments and all the ancillary fees for the whole portfolio. And then at the end of every month, we go through and reconcile that account down to zero and pay out whatever needs to be paid out into the individual property account prior to doing the reconciliation for each property.
Are you still with us?
That's the one complication. Everything else works pretty smoothly.
Let's try and just simplify that as a little recap. So you have properties A, B, and C. All the money collected from rents from property A goes into property A's account. Same with property B, property C. But if property A paid for pool heating, that goes into the big account over here, and that needs to be split out at the end of the month. It's a manual process for us, for him, but if anyone out there is doing something similar but better, please drop your knowledge in the comments below.
Why is math so hard?
Another big benefit we find with Farmer State estate bank is that we can do ACH transfers to whoever we want. And this is something that a lot of big banks won't let you do. They'll do wire transfers, which usually comes with a per use fee, or they'll tell you you need to write checks.
When we onboard a new client, we get their banking information, their account number, their routing number, and then it's easy for us to do the ACH transfer directly into their account at the end of each month.
We also pay our cleaners or subcontractors via ACH payments, and this simplifies the process a lot, not having to deal with checks or Venmo or Zelle or other things, all done in one place.
All of these transactions also sync with QuickBooks, which is our bookkeeping platform, and that gives us traceability and makes things a lot easier for our CPA for end of year reporting.
At properties that we own versus ones we manage, we handle things in a very similar way, except we route everything through that dedicated account. Things like the mortgage payment, a credit card payment for expenses on that account, or any utilities or service provider payments that we pay on a recurring basis.
Ideally, our clients are doing the same thing on their end. They have one account that they're paying all of their utilities and expenses out of for that particular property, and then our funds can transfer directly into that account for them.
In our own accounts, we can also take distributions from there as needed to pay for our own personal expenses. And in summary, everything flowing through that one account makes everything easy to track, see how you're performing.
We don't use QuickBooks for tracking personal properties that we own. That's all in this account. So having everything in one dedicated account makes tax prep easier, and we just have a better overall snapshot of our business.
Makes sense.
Before we got started into real estate investing, we became really interested in credit card sign-up bonuses and accumulating miles for travel.
We've been trying to avoid using cash for spending whenever possible for years and years now to try and accumulate those points and miles.
Once we got into real estate investing, we looked at the credit card landscape that would make the most sense for us and found business credit cards well suited for a real estate business.
Property investing is a business, and you don't need to have a separate entity like an LLC or an S Corp in order to take advantage of those business credit cards.
We've settled on two cards that we think are great choices for our own business, maybe great choices for you to consider too. They're both from Capital One, and the first one is called the Spark 2% Cash Plus card. This has a nice sign-up bonus when you start, and it gives you 2% cash back on all purchases, no caps, no limits, just 2%.
If you're diligent about only using that card for any purchases you make for your property or business expenses, then that cash can accumulate very quickly. And we'll leave a link to all the cards that we're discussing today in the description box below.
We've carried this card for a few years. We have separate accounts for our own properties, and then we also have one for our property management business. One thing about that is it is easy to add employee cards, and then the cash back on employee spending comes to you as well.
Something to keep in mind if you end up going the property management route, or if you already have a property management business and you plan to expand.
Win-win.
A few months ago, we were enticed by a really big sign-up bonus on the Capital One Venture X business card.
We knew we'd be making a lot of setup purchases for a whole home setup that we were doing. And then we also had all of our normal business spending. So we thought getting that sign-up bonus would be worth it. The card comes with other travel benefits, and we justified the $395 annual fee.
The minimum spend was pretty lofty, and we knew we had the whole home setup and our expenses, but then we also added the castle setup, made us hit that pretty quick.
That was one thing where our LLC for the castle reimbursed our business for that home setup activity. That's how those two lines were crossed.
And with the Venture X card, you get 2 miles per dollar spent, which can be redeemed for cash or travel. We try to put everything that we can on this card. We even have 2 cities where we can pay the TOT, the transient occupancy tax, with the credit card, so we can even accumulate points doing that.
Between the sign-up bonuses and the points from regular spending, we've accumulated over $15,000 worth of benefits in the last 12 months, and that's for spending money that we had to spend anyway.
Or spending money for clients to do their property setups and then getting reimbursed for that. So sometimes spending other people's money in like a legal, non-shady way.
It's a nice fringe benefit of any money getting a reward for it.
To keep things clean, we only ever make business purchases on the business credit card, personal property purchases on the personal property credit card. We never intermingle them, and they're paid off directly from their respective bank accounts, which makes reconciliation quick and easy.
Those are the basics of how we handle money and do spending with our business. Now it's time to give away some money to you.
So as we mentioned before, this is our 100th YouTube video, and in honor of our 100th video, we will be giving away a $100 gift card to Amazon. And all you have to do to enter is make sure that you are subscribed and leave us a comment down below.
And mean comments will void your entry.
Yeah, let's keep it positive. Why don't you tell us your biggest win recently. It could be something business related or just something super simple, just something good that's happened to you that you're proud of yourself for.
1 entry per person, and then we'll randomly select one of you to win the gift card. If you have any follow-up questions about today's video or anything else, drop those in the comments and we'll leave another video here on the screen you might want to watch next.
Thanks for watching. We really are so grateful to those of you who tune in, especially every week and leave comments. We know who you are commenting all the time. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video.